In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to complete a merge sort. I will show you all the processes which are involved. This is the third algorithm that you need to know for sorting data for GCSE Computer Science. To begin with, I've got a list of unsorted elements. You can see that there are 7 elements in the list. The way that merge sort works is by repeatedly halving the list until each element is on its own, and then remerging the elements back into order. Traditionally, this is known as the diamond method amongst King Charles students, as when you produce the output for it, you will get a diamond shape across the working. To begin with, I'm going to halve the list. Now, obviously, there is no logical way to split a list with an odd number of elements. To do this, I'm going to take the first 4 elements and put them in one list, and then take the remaining 3 and put them in a second list. So I have 7, 10, 4 and 9 in one list, and in another 5, 2 and 8. I then keep splitting those lists. So the one on the left will be split into one list that has 7 and 10, and another which has 4 and 9. On the left hand side, we continue to split until all of the elements are on their own, repeatedly halving those lists. I then go and do the same to the right hand side of the list. Again, I've got an odd number of elements, so I take 2 to the left hand side and the 1 on its own to the right hand side. I'll split these 2 again, and now you can see that all of the elements are on their own. That's the splitting half of the algorithm done. We now remerge the elements into lists. I begin with the 7 and the 10. To put them into order, I begin with the 7 and then the 10. 4 and 9 get merged back into order next. 5 and 2 are merged into order as 2 and 5. The 8 still remains on its own until the next level of the algorithm. I'm now going to merge the 7 and 10 list with the 4, 9 list, and we begin by looking at the beginning of each of the lists. This is a greedy algorithm as it takes the smallest element first. In this case, the 4. It then looks at the 7 and the 9 and takes the smaller of the elements, which is the 7. Next, it will look at the 10 and the 9. It will take the 9 and then the 10. On the right hand side, we'll begin by looking at the 2 and the 8. We will take the smallest number of the 2, which is 2. It then looks at the 5 and the 8. Again, it takes the smallest, so the 5 goes in next, followed by the 8. This process repeats until the full list is merged back together. We begin by looking at the 4 at the start of the left-hand list and the 2 at the start of the right-hand list. We take the 2 to begin with. We then look at the 4 and the 5. We then take the 4 and add it to our sorted list. We look at 7 and 5. We take the 5. We look at the 7 and the 8. We take the 7. We look at the 9 and the 8. We take the 8. We look at the 9 and the 10 and add those in. you can now see the rough diamond shape that this algorithm has produced. Have a go at performing a merge sort on these numbers. To begin with, I'm going to split the list into two, sending 4 elements to the left, which are 22, 4, 19 and 30. And I'm going to send the 12, 7 and the 10 into the right hand list. Again, I repetitively break this list down until each of the elements is in their own individual list. That's the left hand side done. On the right hand side, I will put the 12 and the 7 together and the 10 on its own. Now that the splitting is done, I'm going to remerge the elements into order. I look at 22 and 4, they're wrote as 4, 22, 19 and 30, 12 and 7 becomes 7 and 12, and the 10 still remains on its own for now. Next, I'm going to merge these two on the left hand side. I compare the 4 and the 19, I take the 4. I compare the 22 and the 19, I take the 19. I compare 22 and 30, take the 22, and the 30 goes on the end. On the right hand side, I compare the 7 and the 10, 7's smaller so I take it. I compare the 12 and the 10 is smaller so I take it, and 12 joins the end. We then merge those two final lists. I look at 4 and 7 to begin with. The 4 joins my sorted list. I then compare 19 with 7. The 7 joins the sorted list. I compare 19 with 10. 10 joins the sorted list. I compare 19 with 12. 12 joins the sorted list. And because I've now finished with my list to the right, I can just write out the remaining elements for my left-hand list. 19, 22 and 30. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.